What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jackpot DFS. I'm Doug. Going to break down the NFL slate for tomorrow. Looking at crazy COVID stuff. I guess the Pittsburgh and Titans game is going to be moved, and then turns out Cam Newton got COVID, so they're moving that game to Monday or Tuesday. Looks like maybe even Tuesday. So may get football 4 nights a week this week instead of the normal three, which is kind of cool, but sucks that everybody's suddenly getting COVID. But anyway, just keep that in mind. If you've got them guys in your lineups, obviously get them out. Usually, generally, FanDuel or DK will give you some kind of a notification, so don't fall asleep and or not go out drinking tonight. Since I'm living in North Carolina, they just now opened the bars back up to like a 7% capacity. So for the first time in months, so everybody's kind of getting out and doing that kind of thing. So if you live in this North Carolina area, keep that in mind. So anyway, getting on to quarterbacks. First position on the slate for me tomorrow, I'm going to look at. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's in play. He's the highest priced quarterback on DK tomorrow, and obviously the guys in play always, but they're going against Washington tomorrow. This game's probably going to be a blowout. I mean, between the defense of the Ravens and the offense that the Ravens have, this isn't a fair matchup. I mean, the only question I have is that that they get up, that they blow them out so bad that the backups come in or something like that, like you would see in like a college football game. I just don't like the upside. You need competition in these in DFS to. You need the games kind of stay close to kind of reach the ceiling for some of these guys, and I just don't like paying that high price up against kind of an unfair matchup, and I don't think it's worth paying up for Lamar tomorrow. I mean, if you're going to play multiple lines, obviously throw a slice in. Who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened, right? So just keep that in mind. But moving on, love Russell Wilson again this week. The guys just keeps on breaking slates for the past couple weeks. Don't see any reason why that won't change tomorrow. I do anticipate the Seattle Miami game being a lot closer than originally anticipated. I also think that Miami has a good shot to stay close all the way to the end of the game. I mean, this could come down to a touchdown victory for one of these two sides, and I'm not ruling out that Miami couldn't win this game. Neither one of these guys are playing the most excellent defense, so just keep that in mind tomorrow. Josh Allen always in play. I'd say he's always mobile, going to pass the ball. Going against the Las Vegas Raiders, love the matchup. Obviously in play. Not my favorite QB this week. I'd say probably Russell Wilson's probably my number one play of the week. And then I do like Dak again tomorrow, moving down. Dak has been on a roll here lately. I thought maybe it was kind of a fluke with the three sneaks or whatever to get that high score, and then he turns around and throws incredible in other games. So this is for real. He got money, or he's trying to get paid. I don't think he's done that contract extension yet, so maybe that's what he's trying to get and play for, and he's earning it right now. So obviously still in play this week. One of my favorite quarterbacks as well this week. Moving down, Kyler Murray going against Carolina. Carolina's defense is not very good, so another excellent matchup for them. The only problem with Kyler Murray this week is that you might run some issues with targets. Right now, Hopkins is questionable. I think Kirk is questionable. Fitz is still in play. What's the backups? I'll get to that. But anyway, keep that in posted that Hopkins is all that. So that may change some things, or they may rely more on Drake. Who knows? But I still, with his mobility and all that, I mean, the guy's still in play. He's going to make things happen. He's kind of like a mobile Tom Brady. He's, you throw SpongeBob out there, he's still going to pass to him. He's that type of player. I do like Jared Goff again this week. Going against a bad Giants team. What's not to like on that? Not my favorite play of the week, but I do like him in the top 10 as far as QBs this week. Also, consideration for Deshaun Watson um, going against a bad defense. Um, like the matchup, and obviously he could finally have a good breakout game this season. Um, Joe Burrow is on the list for me this week. Consideration Jags are terrible on the run as far as against the run, against the pass. Either way you look at it, they're terrible. He's going to have a breakout game at some point this season. Will it be tomorrow? Yeah, I don't know. Could possibly be. He's about 6% on tomorrow. Um, like the matchup, it's possible. He could run in for 2 scores, throw 4 scores tomorrow. I mean, who knows? But I do like that matchup, and I do think this will be a competitive game between him and Minshew, and I think this is going to be also one of those games where it could come down to the wire at the end of the game, as well as the next game. Matthew Stafford, love him tomorrow. A lot of people are not going to be on him. Maybe he's 6% owned. However, I can see him and Drew Brees battling it out um, and having an epic game. Both of these teams suck defensively, so I could see this going for massive points tomorrow as well. Love Drew Brees as well. However, without Michael Thomas, I could look at them, and I believe Cook is also out. So, going to have a couple down receivers, but as we've seen, these guys are still going to move the ball. So Drew Brees is obviously in play. One of my favorite plays tomorrow, cheap play, is Brian Fitzpatrick. The dude's been on fire. Seattle's defense has not been very good this season, and Ryan Fitzpatrick has just been Fitz magic right now. I love him in a play tomorrow. He's probably my top 5 play tomorrow. If you're looking to save down at QB tomorrow, Ryan Fitzpatrick is my guy to save on. But some consideration also for Connor Minshew tomorrow. He's getting DJ Chalk back, so that offense should be back to being a premium. They're going against Cincinnati, not two of the best teams in the league, but it should be a pretty competitive game tomorrow. I really, really like the Jags Bengals game, the New Orleans Detroit game, the possibly the Dallas Cleveland game and the Seattle Miami game tomorrow. Those 4 games alone should be. I mean, you could, if you really even want to go crazy, you could do a game stack if you really wanted to. If you're doing multiple lines, and like I always say, I always advise people to do like the 20 buck, 20 $1 lineups. You can win a nice prize. I think it's first place is like 5 or 10 grand or something like that. But small price to pay to hit big. You never know. And what's $20? That's you probably spend that in a couple days at lunch or something. So just something to think about, something cheap way to get multiple lines in. And I think other thing I wanted to mention is that on FanDuel you can do 150 lineups for like $7.50 if you do like the 5 cent tournament. And they also have the 25-cent tournaments and things like that you can do for 150 lineups. So cheap stuff, man. A lot of the big time players go for crazy money, but if you wanted to go cheap, spend $50, you can do like a 25 cent, and I think it's like $37, $37.50 or something like that to do like the 150 lineup for the quarter slates or whatever, which is not that's a fair price paid considering what you could win if you hit the right line. So just something to think about. But anyway, rounding up the QBs for me, Connor Minshew, or Gardner Minshew, excuse me, and Kirk Cousins as well. Feel like that game could also be a shootout between the two. Those defenses are not what they used to be. So I could also see that happening tomorrow. But that's my QBs that I like for the week. Moving on to running backs. Obviously, number 1 on the list is going to be Kamara. With Michael Thomas out again, you got Cook out, the tight end. They're going to lean on Kamara kind of like they did last week. Catches out of the backfield. would not be surprised if he caught like 10 passes out of the backfield tomorrow. You see, last game he had 14 targets. I mean, you get a point for every catch on DK. I mean, if he catches 12 catches, that's 12 points just by itself. It's not counting if he catches a touchdown, etc. This guy could blow up tomorrow against a bad defense. Um, just a lock for me, number one tomorrow at running back. Worth the pay up. Just obviously. I do like Zeke this week. I don't like him nowhere near as much as I do Kamara. I don't think the upside is anywhere near where Kamara is. I would, if you're debating on playing either Zeke or Kamara, make it easy on yourself. Just go Kamara. I just don't see. There's no comparison there to me from between the two. I do have some consideration for Dalvin Cook. He's going against a bad defense. Those guys didn't get to practice that much this week, so just keep that in mind. So those guys might be a little rougher on the edges or a little bit more fatigue, I guess you could say, if they didn't practice this week. I don't know if that really bothers them or not. Make them even more energized. It's hard to say without seeing them tomorrow, but do like Dalvin Cook tomorrow. Also, somebody else I like is Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has just runs for the Raiders. And the Buffalo Bills defense is on the downswing. They have not been very good this season. So I could see some upside for Jacobs tomorrow. The guy I really like around this range is Robinson and Drake. Robinson catches out of the backfield. He also runs the ball. This guy has nice upside tomorrow. He's one of my top 5 running backs for the week, as well as Drake. I think Drake, Carolina's 31st against the run in the league. Drake has struggled a little bit, but he's getting all the opportunities in the world. So I don't see any reason why he couldn't explode tomorrow and go for a nice game. So not impossible if you want to do a Kamara, like a Robinson, Drake kind of deal. Just saying. Some cheaper running backs that I like. Obviously, Devin Singletary is in consideration for that. Raiders are 32nd against the run. The only problem with him is Moss is questionable, so if he plays, then it kind of cuts into his time. For me, if I'm going to pay this kind of premium for a running back, I want him to get most of the carries, majority. Of course, you're going to have a guy come in there every now and then and still a runaway or whatever, but you want majority of your running load to be the back you choose. Just saying. But going down, Mike Davis is running really hard for Carolina. He kind of surprised me myself. I'm a Panthers fan, and I didn't expect that from him. But 22nd against the run, he's in play. Pardon me. But moving on the list, one of my other top 5 running backs of the week, David Johnson. Obviously, we know what David Johnson can do. Can catch out of the backfield, dude can run. He's maybe kind of reborn, I guess you could say. Being with Houston now, I mean, going against a hell of a bad defense tomorrow. What's not to like? Love David Johnson at that price for tomorrow. Underpriced, obviously, and he also catches out of the backfield and all that. So just keep that in mind. He was the original Kamara, so just keep that in mind. And then along came Christian McCaffrey and Kamara and exploded onto the league. Anyway, moving on. Chris Carson, some consideration. Don't know if he's going to play for sure tomorrow, but it looks like he will. He's a full participant Friday in practice, so it looks like he will play. Going against Miami, that's not a bad matchup. However, seems like Seattle's kind of leaned more on the first week of the season. They kind of lean on Chris Carson heavy, and then now since then they've just kind of been a pass heavy. So just keep that in mind. Anytime you got that kind of situation, it's kind of like, well, if I pay up for $6,300 for Chris Carson and he doesn't get a touchdown, then kind of dupe my day. So I would stay away from that if you're doing like a single line. Myself, I'd stick with one of these other guys. There's going to be the main ball carrier. Joe Mixon in play, obviously. Questionable this week. Don't have any clarification on him just yet, but just keep in mind, pay attention to see If he is out, then obviously you want to fall upon a guy like Bernard, somebody like that. Just keep in mind to pay attention to that if you're interested in playing Mixon tomorrow. Mark Ingram, obviously in play. Don't know how much run he'll get. I mean, they could get up and they throw J.K. Dobbins in the game or something like that, so he's in consideration for me this week. If they get up by 21 points and it's like half third or something like that, they'll start mixing in Dobbins. Let him get some time. This guy's explodes for a couple touchdowns or something. You never know. Just things to think about. I'm kind of avoiding this game myself. I kind of like to stick with the games that are going to be so many games that are going to be closer tomorrow. To me, it just seems more smart just to kind of go with a game that's going to be closer. Consideration for David Montgomery, he's cheap, and Cohen obviously is out, so you're going to have him out there getting majority of the shares with nobody to share it with. Um, Love the upside from Montgomery. He is facing a real tough defense. But if they get down to the 1 or 2 yard line, he's always going to be the guy to go to. They're going to give him some opportunities. So just keep in mind it's going against a really good defense. I think Indianapolis is number 1 in the NFL. This could be a defensive game tomorrow, low scoring, something like that. So just keep that in mind. Not for me really, but considering just some consideration for David Montgomery, considering the injury news with Cohen and what the possibility realm could happen. So, not my favorite running back of the week, but just going to mention him just in case you guys would like to play him and what the spot is for him. Also, low ownership as well. So, moving on with Kamara so involved in the passing game, that could open up opportunities for Latavius Murray tomorrow at 4,900. I could see like Kamara being specifically like a pass catching back and not getting the run workload just because he's working so much in the passing work. So that could bring in a guy like Latavius Murray to take some of the ease off of him and run the ball so he doesn't tear himself out so fast. So 4,900. I mean, I could see Latavius Murray going for a couple TDs tomorrow. It's not out of question. So just keep that in mind. You could even possibly stack these two guys. I mean, I know that's not the norm, but with New Orleans and their injury situation, this is not something that's not out of the question that you couldn't stack these two and them to easily get 20 points or easy apiece. That is a possibility. I already mentioned J.K. Dobbins, what I think can happen with him tomorrow. They get up, he comes in the game, can run the ball for 100 yards. Who knows? He has a breakout big run or something like that crazy. Washington's defense is not the worst in the league. However, I don't see Washington slowing these guys down tomorrow enough where it scares me at all. So I do think Devontae Freeman is going to have a game where he breaks out on the scene. I don't think it's going to be like a monster game, but something where he can score a couple touchdowns out in the realm of possibility. This game tomorrow could certainly be there. He's been there for a little over a week now, so he's had some more time to adjust to the playbook. I could see him getting some more workload tomorrow, and Devontae Freeman is not a bad back. 4,800 is worth a stab for playing multiple lines. I wouldn't go crazy, but a couple lines worthy. Adrian Peterson, he's the main back right now in Detroit. Swift will get some run, but mainly AP will be the guy. Not out of the realm of possibility for him to get a couple touchdowns tomorrow. Just saying. And last on my list is Malcolm Brown. Him and Henderson will share the load. I put him on there just in case. I don't know what the bulk share will be. Maybe half and half, but it looks like Henderson's been given the go ahead for number 1 right now. So just some worthy consideration for him tomorrow. Moving on to receiver. Obviously, I like DeAndre Hopkins this week. He did not practice Friday, so just keep an eye on that news. But at a price tag of $8,500, he's again $1,500 above the rest of the field. I'm probably just going to fade him this week, and I'll go with a cheaper option if I want to play somebody or pair like a combo with Murray tomorrow. Lockett, love him this week. One of my top 5 guys. Deciding between him and DK Metcalf is hard. You could just pair these guys. I mean, they're getting enough targets. 13 targets last game for Lockett. 8 targets for Metcalf. I mean, You could pair these guys up and line them up with Wilson and be happy with that. It's just saying. Mari Cooper is probably one of my favorites on the week. 12 targets, 9 targets, 14 targets. He's just been a monster target share for Amari Cooper. Um, in a great matchup again tomorrow. What's not to love? Cooper Cup, same deal. Not quite the target share, but the guy's getting got plenty of love last week. 10 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets. Love him tomorrow. Love a Cooper Cup with a even with Woods. You could do the same thing you kind of going to do with. I do think the upside is better with Lockett and Metcalf if you want to pair them guys up. I do think even pairing up a Cooper with a Lamb or a Gallup is even not out of the question to do tomorrow. Just saying. But look at Keenan Allen. I mean, he's just been the go-to guy for the rookie Herbert. 19 targets last week. I mean, I know Tampa Bay's got a little bit tougher of a defense, but this guy is getting the rock. I mean, he's just getting past the ball constantly. 8% on is not crazy. Um, if you want to drop down from Hopkins, any of these guys, like it's going to be crazy highly on. But if you want to take that, take a Metcalf over. Just want to mention that real quick. If you want to take Metcalf over Lockett at 13% ownership versus the 20, you know, all those. Let's just say that Lockett runs down the field and hurts his hamstring. He's out for the rest of the game. All of you guys that take Metcalf over Lockett, this one, dude, because you're going to shoot at leaderboard because, stuff like that happens all the time. Just saying. Kind of same thing with Amari Cooper. You fade him and go with Gallup. Same situation. Love Robert Woods tomorrow. Love Gallup. I do like Burrow tomorrow to have a nice game. Boyd is getting plenty of targets. He got 13 last week, 8 in the last game before that. Nice $6,100 price. That's not too bad for a receiver. Kenny Galladay, love him as well. Going to another guy in a nice matchup. I mean, there's going to be a lot of guys in nice matchups tomorrow. It's going to be hard. It's like kind of like Pringles. You can't just have one, but it's tough to choose between these guys. Another guy, CeeDee Lamb for Dallas. I mean, you got to love him. But if you're going for Fitz tomorrow, love Devontae Parker. I know he's got a hammy issue still. I think he's probably another week from that, so he's getting better and better probably every week. Love that stack if you want to go Devontae Parker with the Fitz tomorrow. Odell Beckham still getting targets in a nice matchup again tomorrow. Will Fuller is healthy. This guy, he can have monster games. Not out of the question. He's going against a terrible defense tomorrow in the passing game. Just something to think about. 5,900 speedster. CeeDee Lamb is getting target share every week. He's in another nice matchup again this week. Justin Jefferson's in a great matchup this week. This guy blew up last week. So was that a one-game fluke, or is he going to do it again this week? Who knows? But if you don't have him, that's not going to be good for you. As you can see, he had a monster game last week, still coming in at like 4% ownership. So it's worth a stab. Take a couple lines and throw him in there. He blows up for another 200-yard game with 2 touchdowns or whatever. You're going to love it. So at that price of 5,200. Landry's still kind of battling, coming back from that hip injury. He's not 100%, but he's out there. He's still going to play. I still like him in this spot. Just something to think about. I think for me in this price range, I think I'm going to kind of stick with the Devontae Parker, Beckham, CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson kind of ways to go in this area. Now, if you're shooting down looking for savings, I do like Brandon Cooks. He's speedster, obviously. 4,500 is a nice price for all the targets he's getting. 8 targets, 5 targets. He's going to get looked at tomorrow, and he's going against a terrible defense. This guy, he can blow the field up and go for a couple touchdowns and a lot of yardage. So just keep that in mind. Same thing with Preston Williams. You want to pair him up with Fitzpatrick tomorrow, even if you want to do a Parker or Williams stack, or you want to do a Parker, a Preston Williams tight end stack with Fitz. However you want to do it. I mean, this could work out. It's cheap. With a cheap quarterback and spend up at your running backs. However you want to do it. There's different ways to go this week to think about. So Other guy I want to mention for Dallas, the sneaky guy who stole a couple of touchdowns last week, got targeted 7 times last week. He's only 3,200. He's not getting the snap share, but he's out there. So he stole a couple touchdowns last week. So just keep that in mind. Some guys in not so great matchups this week. I do like still Allen Robinson. Got targeted 13 times last week, 9 times the week before, 9 times again the week before that. At 6,700, he's a premium receiver at this point in the league. Not out of the question, dude. He's out there for 80% of snaps. I think he's still in a great spot to be able to get a touchdown and get targets. I still like him, even though he's going up against Indy tomorrow. DJ Chark, another guy to think about. Going against a bad defense tomorrow, 6,000. He's back. He's Minshew's main guy. This is something to think about tomorrow. This guy doesn't do anything but win, or get touchdowns, so to say. He's basically a running touchdown every time he's out there. So another guy to like that's not in a great spot tomorrow is Terry McLaurin. Guys just getting crazy targeted. I know the Ravens, they're playing the Ravens, and it's not a great spot, but they're going to have to pass the ball a ton tomorrow. They're probably going to be playing behind the whole game. They're not going to be running the ball. They're just going to be passing the whole game, I can see. So just something to think about. This guy could easily catch 12 balls tomorrow. It might be for 43 yards, but 12 points off 12 catches on DK. Just something to think about. Other guys to like, AJ Green, he's getting a lot of target share from Joe Burrow. I know the Panthers are not in the most wonderful spot tomorrow. Their defense matchup isn't as bad as it could be. Robbie Anderson has just been a bright spot for the Panthers this season. He's getting 10, 6 targets, 8 targets. He's a speedster. He's a bigger receiver. He's getting the share. So just something to think about tomorrow at a $5,400 price. Not in love with T.Y. Hilton, kind of on the fence, going against the Bears. I don't like it. Another down week probably for Hilton. With Michael Thomas out, obviously Traquan Smith is going to be out there again. He's getting targeted still. Just something to think about. Only 5% ownership, but he's out there 84% of snaps at 5,000 worth of stab. Cole Beasley has been getting massive targets. He went for six catches and 100 yards this past week. He's out there 64% of snaps. He plays a slot guy. Just something to think about if you want to go with him with a Josh Allen stack or a one-off. Golden Tate, not the worst defensive matchup in the world. Guys are gonna have to pass the ball too. New York's probably gonna be playing from behind most of the game. So just something to think about. Nice target tomorrow at 4,600. If Kirk or Hopkins do not play, either one of them guys, even if just one misses, you're gonna see Andy Isabella. I called that last week on Twitter when I saw Kirk was not going to play. Caught 2 touchdowns in a game. 4,500, great price. He's a speedster. Caught 2 touchdowns last week. Same thing with Higgins. This guy's getting a more and more target share. 9 targets last week, 2 touchdowns. And his price is still real cheap. 4,500. What's not to like? These guys aren't believers, man. Seeing is believing, guys. 3% ownership, 57% of snaps. Guys getting more and more playing time every week. Just something to think about. Take a stab, a couple lines. I like, let's see, a couple other cheap guys that I like this week. Anthony Miller, 4,900 out there, 47% of snaps. He's caught a couple touchdowns the past couple weeks. 5 targets, 3 targets, 6 targets. Something to think about. Just a cheap play. And then 2 other guys to think about. Chris Carnley, $3,700, 54% of snaps, less than 1% ownership. 8 targets, 7 targets. I know Chark was out, but still, he's going to be on the field. Just something to think about. And the super low play of the week, I know he hasn't done much, but there's going to be a game coming eventually. This guy's just too fast and too legit speeded to not do something eventually this season. For a 3,000 price on DK, 55% of the snaps. John Ross in consideration this week if you want to match him up as on one-liner or two-liner. If you're laying multiple lines, just something to think about. Only 3K. This guy blows up and goes for an 80-yard touchdown. I mean, this guy, it doesn't take much to pay off a $3,000 tag. Just saying. So, just something to think about this week at receiver. Tight ends I like this week. I think Waller will be back in play this week, obviously because he's not going against a crazy matchup, crazy hard defensive matchup. We all should have known that wasn't going to work against Bill Belichick. He's gonna let you just throw the ball to one guy the whole game. I wouldn't expect 16 targets tomorrow, but 8 or so is not out of the realm of possibility with Waller. He is a little bit more pricier. The guys I do love this week is Hawkinson for Detroit. 7 targets, 4 targets, 5 targets, 72% of snaps, 92% of snaps for Waller, 72% of snaps for Hawkinson. Those are just guys you'd want to have because you know those guys are going to have more opportunity because they're on the field. But the guy to love this week, Dalton Schultz, excuse me, $4,300 on the field, 69% of snaps, 10 targets, 6 targets. What's not to love? I mean, he's going to get a great defense tomorrow. This is a perfect matchup for a guy like him. Unfortunately, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Dallas, but $4,300 is a great price. He gets in the end zone once tomorrow, catches 4 passes or something like that. You just blew up that price because that allows you to save other places and pay up other places, excuse me, and save here. And you get a guy who you don't, usually when you take a guy at a low salary like that, the expectations are a little bit low. With him, you can feel a little bit more confident and taking him and feeling like you got a shot, and that's what you want. Still considering Logan Thomas, I mean, he hasn't done much. Got a terrible matchup tomorrow, but $3,500. 7 targets, 9 targets, 8 targets. He's probably getting targeted more than any tight end in the league right now. He's just not doing much with it. He's playing 83% of the snaps. He's still going to be 10% owned for some damn reason. I don't know why, because it's like he catches the ball and goes nowhere. The upside just isn't great with him. Is the issue? He's not like he's not getting the targets. He's just not getting like the great big targets, like 4 yard dob here, 2 yard dob there. Just sucks. Jordan Akins, another guy I like tomorrow. He's going against a bad defense. 7 targets, 3 targets. He's 3,300. Worth a shot. 78% of the snaps. Love that play tomorrow. Another salary saving tight end. Now we get down to the guys I do like that are pricier. I do like Higbee. I just don't like the price, so I'm probably going to fade him mostly this week, just because of his price. I do like Fitzpatrick a whole lot this week, so I probably will play his main man, Mike Galiski, or Gasicki. $5,100, but you know what? This guy's on the field. He's one of the favorite targets for Fitz. Tight end monster. I do love that. Not my favorite number one play of the week for them. I'd probably like Schultz the most at number 1. Hawkinson 2. Wallen's probably top 10-ish. But I love this next guy, Hunter Henry. 8 targets, 85% of the snaps. I love his price and I love the upside. One of my top 5 tight ends of the week is Henry, as well as Ingram. Ingram's dirt ball low, man. He's not usually this low. And this may be one of the only times you see him this low or this cheap in the year. No matter what their record is, this guy can produce. He's getting targeted. He's on the field 92% of the snaps at 4,400. Just something to think about, guys. I love Austin Hooper tomorrow. Great matchup, low price. Molly Cox, some consideration. Jimmy Graham's in a good spot. Not a great spot as far as defensive wise, but he's been catching targets. Got 9 targets last week. I think with Foles at quarterback, he'll target Jimmy Graham more than he was getting targeted before with Trubisky. Just something to think about. Going down the line here, Drew Sample. I like this guy. I know a lot of people are not high on him, but he's 61% of snaps he's out there. He got targeted a lot in that first game. Didn't get targeted a lot last week, but he's in a great matchup this week. Should be easy passing for Burrow. Love this spot for him at 3,500. Another tight end to like this week. There's a lot of tight ends this cheap that you just can't help to like this week. Just looking down to see if there's a cheap tight end that I like. Not a lot to love other than that, but I think you've got plenty of options to go for being cheap this week at tight end and feel comfortable about it. I don't pay up this week. I'd just pay down and go with Schultz or something. Great spot. Um, shouldn't be hard to cash that price tag, and could very well blow it up and catch a touchdown pass with a couple, 4 or 5 catches or something. At the way that Prescott's playing right now, the way Stafford's playing, Hawkinson, Fitzpatrick, and Herbert, even a Daniel Jones, um, or even a Mayfield. I mean, all these guys have quarterbacks that can get them the ball. So just something to think about, guys. There's probably my five tight ends I like. The top five is Hawkinson, Schultz, Kasicki, Hunter Henry, and Evan Ingram this week is probably just love those 5 this week. Moving on to defenses. Now this is where things get a little bit tricky. It's not a lot to love on defense this week. The Ravens are obviously the clear choice at the top. If you're going to screw around and pay $3,639 for these guys, just don't waste your time. Just go ahead and pay for the Ravens. If you're going to spend that much for defense, just play the Ravens. Don't be dumb. That's a dumb move. This probably is my next stop at defense. The Buccaneers, young QB, threw some picks last week. Could very possibly be in another position this week to do so. So I mean, just something to think about. I like the Bucks. Going down, I do like the Bears. I don't think Phillip Rivers is what he used to be. I think they have sack potential here. And if they can really get and pressure Phillip Rivers, I mean, this could be a great game for Chicago. I anticipate this being kind of a low-score game anyway. So, I mean, Indy against, I guess you could consider Indy's defense, the Bears' defense, some small consideration for the Jags, and also some small consideration for the Texans if you want to pay down. I mean, if you're going to pay down for a defense, the only one I guess I could really consider would be either Dallas or the Texans. I mean, you want to try to pay down a little bit to save some salary. I could see the Texans being decent if they can get a few sacks or whatnot. And Kirk Cousins not out of round that he couldn't throw a pick and get returned for a TD or a sack strip. Something to think about. So. Anyway, guys, that's my outlook for tomorrow. Hope this helps. Then again, guys, if you guys have not liked and subscribed, please do so. Very easy. I appreciate the love and support so far you guys have given me. Also, Twitter. I'll always tag that in the video, so that way you guys, if you have trouble finding that, you guys can just click it and follow. On there, I generally try to get some news out if somebody's unexpectedly out, or you have an injury that somebody they call at 12 or something like that, and you need somebody to fill that role, or you had him in your lineup and you're trying to figure out how you're going to play. If you've got a stack going on, I try to give you a guy that you can choose to go with instead. Last week when Kirk was called out, I chose Isabella as the call up on Twitter. 2 touchdowns. So just pay attention to that kind of stuff. Share, please, if you want. All the audience I can get will be greatly appreciated. I will be back. I'm gonna try to get out a Sunday night video for you guys and a Monday night video out. I will also be back with The Bachelor on Tuesday for a first look for the next week as well. So, and if you guys aren't over there, which I'm sure some of you are, you guys know the great content that DFS Bachelor puts out. I've been following Bachelor for a very long time. Good friends, and we're trying to combine our stuff a little bit on the first look, just to kind of get me out there and kind of gives them a hand and a little bit of fun. Sometimes it's not all fun to do it by yourself. So, but anyhow, guys, been a great weekend so far. I hope it's been a good one for yours. Hopefully, good luck tomorrow, guys. And if you guys have questions or anything, as always, put them in the YouTube comment section, or you can find me on Twitter and ask me there. I don't mind answering questions, and I don't mind giving strategy advice if you guys are looking for that. No charge, always free, man. I'm not about that life. I'm an honest guy, and I want to give you guys full honest advice, and you should never be charged for that. So, anyway, guys, have a good rest of your night, and good luck tomorrow.